produce a link here a little bit, and I'm going to text it to you.
Okay.
Produce a link here a little bit. Okay. And let's copy that. And it sounded to me like audio has gotten better on Zoom. All right, this is the link to the replay. All right, so I just sent that to you. All right. So since we're recording, I'm going to go back and just kind of demonstrate what we just did. All right, just real quickly. Okay. So here I am in Descript, new composition. You can select new compositions and create ones, delete them here, but they're all within the same project. That makes sense to you, right? So when
Yep.
you start a new project, you can have a bunch of different compositions within that. And it's great.
So
Huh?
so with when I do a composition, should I put all my videos in one? So if I'm doing
I
as
would.
opposed to
I would.
going like
The reason,
doing
yeah,
a heading.
the reason why I would do that is because if you do all of your compositions in one project, you can go and when you're done with all of your videos, you can export them all as a batch, as opposed to having to open up separate separate projects. That'll just take you a long. It's a time saver. So if
Okay.
your course, for instance, has 30 videos in it, I would put them all in a project, and then when you're ready, because I believe you can even create folders. Yeah, you can create like a
Yeah, I
folder.
didn't quite know the difference between those.
Okay, a folder is just like, think of it as organization. So let's say project is your course, folders might be modules, and then lessons would be inside, like, so you'd have a folder for each module. That way your whole project is organized into
Right.
module lessons. And so it just helps you have a, for instance, I'll show
So
you.
if I have 3 chapters or 3 videos for each
Yeah, exactly. So
title.
I'm going to just say module 1. Okay. And let's say, see, because my module, I actually didn't use this folder thing, but I'm gonna demonstrate. So right here, I've got lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. But I've got these two. Whoops. No, hang on. Let me go where
Are you able to screen share what you're doing? Or I'm
I
just seeing you right now.
I didn't screen share. I'm sorry. You should have told me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let's see. Yeah, let me know if you're because wait, hang on. Make sure that okay. Now you should see my screen. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Okay. So let me go back to what we were looking at here. Let me delete that. Delete. I'll show you what I was doing. All right. So in the composition view up here,
Yeah.
it's out of the way. All right. So up here, this is your project. This is your composition list. And these are all the individual videos that you create within that. And
Okay.
down here, you can create a new composition or you can create a folder. And the folders are how you organize your different things. So I'm going to create one called Module 1. Okay. So I just created a folder.
Yep.
And it just works like any other folder. And I can grab it, move it up here to the top of my composition list, right here at the top, which is, so whoops, I need to go higher. Hang on. All right. So module 1, I can drag up lesson 2 into it. And now lesson 2 is in module 1. Now, if I create a new folder, I call this one module 2. And I can drag that up to the top here. And I can move module 2, lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. You see what I'm doing there?
Yeah. Yep.
So this is just a way you can like literally organize and then collapse them. So again, it's just a way to to oh, there's another module to lesson. Yeah. So I'm just literally just, you know, and that way, as I build my course, I can build folders and compositions to keep it nice and organized.
Right.
So let's go to this blank one. We'll start from scratch. This is like a new lesson. This is, you know, when you first start a project, this is the screen you're going to see. And you want to go to record something. Two options you have over here are camera and screen. Camera is when you're going to be doing a basic script style thing or whatever. And
Yep.
you can still, you know, and you might, there are a lot of courses where I'm going back and forth between the screen. I might demonstrate something on the screen and then I'm talking. So if you're using the computer to demonstrate, whether it's a PowerPoint slide, if you want to do that in real time, because I usually add my PowerPoint slides after using,
Yep.
so I just, if it's a script, I just select camera. But if I'm going to be doing anything on the computer, like I'm demonstrating software a lot, you probably won't be doing that as much. So for the
Right.
most part, you'll probably be just using this camera.
Yep.
So now it just selected my phone. And again, you'll want to make sure on your view that you can see what I'm doing. You've got those you got those options on the bottom. This is where
Yeah.
you see the camera, like
Hey,
right now.
do you have to for your phone to pop up into that menu? Do you just have to, is there anything in settings? Because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't for me.
Well, if your phone is on and continuity cameras turned on,
Yep.
it should happen by default. And you might have to unlock and turn on your phone or whatever. But if you don't see it, like again, when you go to select your camera, you're going to see all of your options. Like I've got my FaceTime camera.
Yep.
I've got OBS, which you're not going to have that. That's a separate thing. And then it's not showing my Mevo because my Mevo is not available because Zoom is using it. So
Right.
these are just the cameras that I have available.
Yep.
And on the microphone, you want to make sure, in your case, it's going to be your iPhone microphone. And then hopefully your microphones are plugged into it. But see, like these are all my microphone options. So
Right.
I've got my MacBook Air microphone,
Gotcha.
Zoom, I got this. So you got to make sure you got the right camera and the right microphone.
Yep.
And then again, even though I select the camera, I could turn on screen and I could add, you know, I've got two displays. I could select which one I want, and then I can
Yep.
add a screen to it. But in this case, I'm not. I'm just going to go with my camera and we're going to just record. I'm going to put the camera on me. And the great thing about continuity camera on your phone is that it's always going to be level. No matter how you hold, I'm like turning the microphone, it's all, or the hand or the camera, it's always going to be level, which is nice. It's got like a built-in level in it.
Oh yeah.
So, so all you've really got to worry about is the tilt. Because if you turn the camera, it's going to zoom in a little bit, but it's going to keep everything nice and
Yep.
level. Okay. All right. So we're going to record and just record a few seconds of audio. Testing 1, 2, 3, just enough to get a transcript. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit stop. And then it's going to begin the process of transcribing that audio. Give it a few seconds to do that. And right here at the top, by default, because it doesn't have my name, it's going to transcribe, but Descript tries to put a speaker name, especially if you're having multiple speakers.
Right.
So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's taking a little bit longer than I expect for a few seconds, but we'll let it do its thing. Maybe because of all the streaming. Probably because I'm streaming on YouTube right now. It's taking a little bit longer. And that's the thing to keep in mind with Descript, because it is cloud-based.
Yep.
Things can take a little bit longer based upon your internet connection, because most of what it's doing is transmitting to and from the cloud. So
Right.
because I have a lot of things going on. Okay, so my text came through. It transcribed that. Now, when it says add speaker, I'm going to click on that, and I know who I am, so I'm going to select that.
Yep.
That's me. All right, let's hit play and let's see what it sounds like. Testing 1, 2, 3, just enough to get it. Yeah, so decent audio. Of course, I'm 2 inches from the phone, so the audio would be decent. In your
Yep.
case, the phone might be back a little bit. You're using your lapel microphones.
Yep.
But here's where the magic comes in. And this is like the very next thing that I do. Well, let's say the first thing that I do. You see this little slash right here? Where my arrow is? Just a forward slash. You see that? Where my mouse is right here. Do you see
I
that
don't
little
see
slash?
your mouse. Is it in front of testing or the two A's?
You don't see my mouse, my cursor moving?
I don't.
What?
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it
Do
it
you see
wasn't
it
there
now?
before. Yeah, I see it now.
Okay. So right here, do you see that little slash?
Yep.
Okay. A forward slash, and it's literally just a text forward slash. Whenever you add a forward slash to your script in Descript, that's called a scene. That means when you want to cut to something or change a layout, all you've got to do to create a new scene is just type a forward slash and it creates a scene. What a scene is will make more sense as we go. And I'll show you another one of my lessons to show you what scenes can do because they're amazing. All right. But the first thing I want to do is click on that scene
Yep.
and I'm going to go to this scene tab over here. On the right, there's a scene tab.
Yep.
And a couple things that I can do with this scene. Let's just say that this scene, by default, the scene is the entire video that you just recorded. Until you add additional scenes, it's just one scene.
Yep.
And a scene, the first thing that's important with a scene is an in transition and an out transition. So before I do anything else, I go ahead and add my in and out transition right here. So I hit this plus button on transitions. So again, I clicked on the scene that I want to work on. I go into the scenes area over here on the right. And then right here, I see transitions. And I click on that and I want to add an in transition. Most of the time, I'm going to use smart transitions. Smart transitions are just kind of these automatic transitions that Descript does, and most of the time they're great. There's only other time when I don't use those. So I'm going to use a smart transition for my in and a smart transition for my out. Okay.
Yep.
See what I just did there? All right. So now I'll show you what that does.
Now you don't have do you have to put another cursor backward slash for your out?
Nope. No, you're thinking rightly. You're thinking rightly, but a scene, why won't it show my timeline? What's happening here? Hang on. Why do I have that? Why do I have what on earth? Is this a Zoom thing? Okay, get out of that. Okay. I guess that's a Zoom thing. That's cool. So I need to show the timeline. And this is another thing that you're going to want to do. It's not always, view timeline. You see on the bottom there, view timeline? Okay, click on that. This is something that I always bring up. It doesn't come up by default. I wish it would. But this is showing you kind of classic editing. You see all the audio, and now you see the project in a timeline.
Yep.
And wherever you click on the script, it's going to take you in the timeline where that is.
Gotcha.
Okay. So back to scene. I'm going to click on my scene. And I'm going to go to the beginning of my video. And I'm probably going to just shorten this a little bit. See, this is where using the timeline is good because I can shorten the beginning. All right. Now you notice that the screen went black at the beginning. You see that? Okay. Now watch what happens when I hit play. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. That was my scene in. Did you see it just faded in?
Yeah.
And then if I go to the end, scroll to the end, I'm going to hit, and then it faded out.
Yep.
So it just created, so by adding an in transition and out transition, now my video has a fade in and a fade out.
Cool.
Really, real easy. Okay.
So if I'm going over, because I'm going over to push record on my computer, which is across the room, and then I'm walking and I'm just kind of getting myself set, I can cut all that out beforehand with this.
Exactly. 100% exactly right. And that's where you don't worry about any of this in the recording stage. You just record, do your stuff. In fact, really, it depends on, so like a lot of times what I will do is so that I don't have to keep going back and forth, a lot of times, because again, just like you can create separate compositions, you can also copy from a larger script and paste it into a new composition. So a lot of times I will record a module at a time. So I'll go ahead and record all 3 lessons in one recording, and then
Yep.
I will just cut up the text and paste it into new compositions.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Say that one more time.
Okay, so
Oh, you do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha. You record
I
all at
record
once.
that way. I'm not having to stop and start each lesson. I'll record
Yeah.
it into a module. It might be
Yeah.
a 20-minute, 30-minute video. And
Yep.
then I can just literally say, okay, I want to create a new composition with that text in it.
Right.
I just copy it, create a new composition, and paste. It's literally just like copy and paste in a Word, in a text browser
Okay.
or a text editor. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So now here's the next extremely important thing that I do before I do anything else. I fix the audio. And there's 2 things that I do. All right. So first thing that I do is go over to this, get this out of the way. Do you see over here on the top right where it says Underlord?
Yes.
Okay. Click on Underlord. And there's this thing here that says
Hey,
Studio Sound.
can I ask you a question while we're here before we go on to this?
Okay.
So if I mess up a line and I say it 4 times over to get it right, would I just cut it out? Like, you
Here,
know how
okay.
you,
Okay. All right. So Underlord, a lot of that is in the Underlord.
okay.
Underlord, there actually is, there's edit for clarity, which you will not have to do. Edit for clarity would be if you're speaking extemporaneously and you wanted to remove unnecessary speech, you would
Yep.
use that. But for scripts, I wouldn't use that. Studio sound, we'll talk about that in a second. Remove filler words. Again, this is for extemporaneous speaking. This will remove all of your you knows, ums, like you know, all of it'll
Yep.
remove those automatically. Remove retakes. So this is going to
Cool.
get your best take. It'll do it automatically. And shorten word gaps, I wouldn't use that. I would edit those manually. And then for longer things, it can actually add chat.
Sorry, say that again. Shorten word
Like if
gaps.
you paused for like 3 seconds, it would remove that. And again, I wouldn't use that. Because you're on a script, it's much
Yeah,
easier to remove those
right.
out manually. All right.
Otherwise, it'll go by too quick and be too weird.
Right, exactly. Eye
Yep.
contact means that if I'm here and my eyes are there, it'll put them back there.
Okay.
Okay. So eye contact is very handy. So
Do you, do you use eye contact all the time?
I do because I'm looking because my
Teleprompter?
teleprompter is really big and my eyes are doing this.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering. Those, yeah, because even with my teleprompter, I notice it looks like I'm reading sometimes. So that takes that away.
Well, and the thing to keep in mind, it will move your eyes, but it won't move your head. So if your head is going like this, it's going to be like that. So I try to, as I'm reading a Descript, as I'm reading a teleprompter, I'm trying to keep my eyes forward or my face forward. But if my
Yeah.
eyes, so read with your eyes, not your head, if that makes sense,
Right.
because it'll keep your eyes in the center. And then center active speaker, it's what it sounds like. Green screen is it'll remove your background, whether you have a green screen or not, but green screens make that more effective. In your
Yep.
case, I wouldn't worry about that just yet. Just use your current background. It looks fine.
Right. If anything, I might, that's where I want to say you could come in and if you think we need to change it up or this, then we'll do it after.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But if you're thinking about wanting to replace your backgrounds, a green screen is a good affordable tool to
Yeah.
have for just putting behind you. And there's lots of fold out green screens that you could just literally put behind the couch.
Yeah.
That way you still
So,
have the right, exactly. So, all
so
right.
this green screen, you're saying if I'm using a green screen or does it generate a green screen? What does that green screen mean?
Well, okay, do you know what a green screen is?
Yeah.
Okay. So whether in Descript, whether I have a physical green screen behind me or whether I just have a background, it's going to remove the background. It's got AI to
Okay.
help,
Gotcha.
but it's going to be much more believable and effective with an actual green screen. So it'll
Right.
work. But as you saw in mine, like there's points where the edges start messing up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that's green screen. You can use Descript to generate images for cutaway. Like if you want to describe an image, like, oh, I want to cut away to this scene, you can create. I don't use that very much because I would rather either use footage that I generate or slides from PowerPoint or whatever. And then
Okay.
blur speaker background, that's similar to green screen, but it just blurs your background. That's like just like what Zoom does.
Right.
I wouldn't do that in your place because your background's too close to you. It wouldn't look natural. All right. And now we'll talk about repurposing later, but these repurposing are things. This is exactly what Opus Clip does. Just this will create clips, just like Opus Clip. If it's long form, it'll create clips.
Yep.
It'll create a highlight reel and it'll find highlights and it'll translate and it'll actually translate your videos into other languages in your voice. Pretty amazing.
Wow.
And then you've got publish. It'll help you draft titles, but that's not necessary because ChatGPT already helped with that. It'll summarize your lessons for descriptive for video descriptions, which is great. It'll actually draft show notes, which in this case would be like lesson notes.
Yep.
It'll draft social posts for you if you're doing that. So that's what's all in there. So this is all in the Underlord. Now let me go back to the thing that I was originally talking about, Studio Sound. If I go and I click on this, it's immediately going to start using AI to clean up my audio. And while that's doing it, it's kind of doing its thing. It's going to take a second. Oh, it actually is already done. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off so that you can hear the before and the after. Then over here, right above audio effects. And again, right here,
Where are you now?
over here.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And again, we are in the, like how I get to that screen, if I'm not there, if I click on anything, if I click on my script over here, it comes up and I see studio sound here. It's turned off. And if I add this, I want to add one more thing, which is a compressor under dynamics. So plus dynamics compressor. I also like to add a compressor because that's just going to give a little bit more thickness and depth to the sound. And there's a preset in here. You don't have to worry about how to use a compressor. I go in here to the settings icon here, click on that. And then I go at the top, I have a preset and it's called classic voiceover. Okay. Those are the two things I do to fix my audio. And I'm going to show you the difference. So I'm going to turn off the studio sound and the compressor. Here's the audio before it. All right, listening. There we go. Testing 1, 2, 3, just enough to get a train. Hey, you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, now I'm going to turn it on. Turn on both the compressor and the studio sound. Now listen. Testing 1, 2, 3, just enough to get a transcript. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit. So it cleans up the audio a lot. Doesn't matter how good or how bad your audio is. It makes it as good as possible.
Right.
So those are the two things. Okay, now essentially the video is done. All right. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna demonstrate how much time we got. Okay. I'm gonna demonstrate how we can use scenes to do cool things because that's just basic recording. Right now, that's the stage you're in. So right now, what I'm about to show you is when you go into the editing stage. So right now, this is food for thought, but you're not going to worry about this yet. I just want to show you after you've recorded your videos.
Yep.
How the next stage is going to go. All right. So I'm going to go to module. Oh, get that over that. Wait. There we go. Hang on. There we go. Module 1. All right. I don't know where my. Oh, what? I need to find my lessons now. Module 2, lesson 1, module 2. Okay, module 2, lesson 1, adjusting your volume. That must be module 3. That can't be module 2. So I've got to find where my. Huh. I gotta find my lesson video. Hang on a second. Welcome back. So that's lesson. So where is my, am I missing something here? Lesson one, connecting DPA to assigning, lesson one, adjusting volume. And it's like, did I delete something? I sure hope I didn't. Not. Back here and click into.
Hey, if you go into
I'm missing one of my, I'm missing one of my lessons, which surely I didn't delete it. Oh well, I got to sort that out. All right. What were you saying?
I was gonna say if you go back to the main screen, you see Why Worship Part One, Why Worship.
Yep.
Oh, there's two Why Worship Part Ones, Part Three. Like I'll probably redo them all to erase all of these. You just how do you erase them?
You just go over here to the right,
Yep,
3 dots,
yep.
delete project.
Okay,
Yep. Yep. That's how you do that.
okay.
Now, I am mildly concerned because I'm missing a lesson in here, but I'll just use one that I'm currently working on.
You had moved a couple lessons into other ones? Are they in?
Yeah, but I for whatever reason I don't see them. I don't see the one I'm looking for even inside those folders, unless it was. I wonder if I can just undo a few things. Um,
Right.
I wonder if it'll let me, because I wonder if I inadvertently deleted something. Where's the undo button? Do I have undo?
If you go into edit on the top left there.
I don't have it. Maybe because I came out of the, yeah, I really hope I didn't delete something. I don't remember doing that. Module one, lesson two. What is the Midas DP48? Oh, wait, that's lesson two. All right, that's it. Yeah, that's welcome back. All right, welcome. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that now. I'll have to find it later. All right, module two, lesson one. Did I put any assets in here? Did I? All right. Okay, no. All right, so we're going to go to module two. And as you can see, right now I just have my entire video.
Mm-hmm.
And if I look at my beginning part, yeah, it's tied at the top, and I do have some cuts in there, so I have made some edits. And that's the thing, I'm editing, but even within a scene, I can have edits within that scene, but it's still one scene. So I'm going to do what I talked about before, which is click on that scene. I'm going to go and make sure that it has an inch a transition in and transition out. Again, I select that scene over there on the right. Transitions, I want to make sure that I have smart transition in and smart transition out. That just gives me my fades. All right,
Yep.
now I'm going to start adding my assets in. And a couple things that I have. Let me just bring that up. I have an Excel sheet or a numbers. Oh, hang on. All right, let me just go into my folder to get it from there. Oh, I have to use this. It's in my other hard drive. Hard drive. Yep, there we go. And courses, sound training, Midas, DP48. Okay, I'm going to bring up my asset sheet. So as I go through my ChatGPT script, it'll
Mm-hmm.
give asset suggestions. And so I created this asset sheet, which when you get to this point, again, this is all food for thought.
Hey, hang on. Hey, Clay, hang on one sec. My computer is died.
Okay. One Earth. Why is numbers creating a problem here? Source quotes. What on earth is happening?
Okay, there we go.
Now I've got the spinning wheel of death, which is fantastic. Board. And maybe I need to restart desktop. Sure what's happening, but whatever. On earth. My hard drive that's causing an issue. Let me disconnect it, see if that's the issue.
Is it because you're recording?
I'm sure that's probably part of it, but here we go. It came back around. All right. I think it was my hard drive for whatever reason. It was acting funky. Okay, so load. All right. Go back into my folder. Courses, sound training, Behringer, Midas, DP48. Assets. Okay. Let me load up my asset sheet. All right. I read. Okay. Well, I'll show it to you. Gee whiz. I don't know why this is technology it's great until it's not. What on earth? It is not, it's not enjoying my hard drive at all. What on earth? Okay, let's try that again.
How's your mom doing?
She seems to be doing better. We're about to go see her. You know, my mom is awesome. You know, even when she's not good, she's great. And I
Yeah.
tell you, when I'm her age, I want to be just like her.
Oh yeah.
She just
That's
she's just
good.
she's the great lady, and like she just has so much faith. And she's one of those people that, I mean, she's literally walking with no cartilage in her legs, but she's walking, and the doctors don't understand why. And they ask her, "Are you in pain?" She's like, "Well, I mean, little, but not enough to make me stop walking."
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty cool. All right, let's try this one more time. Okay. What is this message? Can't be opened right now. The file format is invalid. What do you mean? Oh my gosh. What the heck? So frustrating. All right, I won't, I guess I won't try to open that file. I will explain what it is. Oh, geez. I'll just show it. I won't try to open it. All right, I won't open it, but it's basically an Excel sheet where I make a list of all the assets
Oh
that
yeah.
I, And then when I create each asset, I label the file name according to this so that I can go and find it later. And then I create folders, an asset folder for all of my stuff. So like module 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, all of that is the assets that go, whether it's a slide. See how that works? What I'm doing there? I created those slides in Numbers or PowerPoint.
Oh yeah.
I export them as images. Okay. So now I think I was on module 2. So I'm going to show you how I bring these in. So we're going to start with module 1, lesson 2. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and I'm going to go to module 2 in my little course here.
Yep.
Where are you? Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm going to scroll up. Go to module 2. That's the thing in ChatGPT. I mean, sometimes it might make sense to like for me to export these into separate documents, but whatever, because you generate a lot of text with ChatGPT, that's for sure.
Right.
All right. So I'm not in module 2 yet. Let me get over to module 2. Okay, module 2, lesson 1. All right. So the first asset, camera on me. Yep. First asset is going to be a close-up shot of the Midas deep before showing me the okay. Actually, let me go to lesson 2 because I think that's what I'm on. Lesson 2. Go to lesson 2. All right, lesson 2. All right. First asset, camera on me is the first shot in this lesson. All right. Close up of the DP48 showing a group selection menu. Okay. So this would be the module 2, lesson 2, and the first asset is this. Okay, so that's the slide that I'm going to cut to. All right.
Yep.
And I'm going to cut to it on this text. Unlike traditional personal mixers. All right. Where am I going to add this at 12? Okay. So after that line right here, so basically during this part right here, all of that, I'm going to create a scene in here to drag that into. So I'm going to find, so unlike, and then for example, that's where I'm going to find that in the script. All right. Are we in lesson 2? Oh, yeah, we are in, well, lesson 1. Let's go to lesson 2. Go to lesson 2. Okay. Unlike traditional personal mixers, okay? And all right. So basically what I'm going to do is take from here this paragraph and I'm going to create a scene, an in and an out scene. And this is to your point, when I create a new scene, I'm going to have an in point and an out point of that scene. So at the beginning of this paragraph, I'm going to put in a / here. And at
Yep.
the end of that paragraph, I'm going to put a / okay?
Okay.
Now I've created 2 scenes. So in between these 2 slashes is where I want to place that slide. Okay. Now, before I do that, I want to go ahead and do my transitions. Now, whenever I do slides, I do specific in and out transitions. I do on the inside, I do a crossfade. And on the outside, the out transition, I also do a crossfade. That way it's just fading to the slide and fading out. Now, here's kind of something to keep in mind with the way that transitions work with the scenes. This scene has an in and an out. But just so you know, like whatever scene you have selected, the transition to that scene is your in, and transition out is your out. And this is where it might be confusing, but it might make sense. The transition out is exactly the same as the in transition here.
Right.
That makes sense? So by selecting an in and out here, I basically automatically put a transition here and here. So like I set an out transition here as a crossfade. When I click on this scene, that transition is there, but it's listed as the as the in. Does that make sense?
I think so. So your first one's out, just your in, and then the other one's out.
Yeah. So you could, to keep things simple, you could select your first scene and just put an in, and select your second scene and put an in. Or you could just take care of this one and this one by just putting an in and an out.
Right. Yep.
All right. Now I'm going to go to my asset in my folder and watch. All I got to do is drag it over to that paragraph. And as you see, it's selecting the paragraph because it knows that I want to place it in between those two scenes. And there we go. Now it added that slide. Now watch what happens when I hit play.
Channels, making it much easier to control your in-ear monitor mix during a worship set. Let's get started. Unlike traditional personal mixers, where you control every instrument separately, the DP48 allows you to assign channels to 12 stereo groups. Here's how it works. Instead of adjusting 48 individual channels, you combine related instruments or vocals into a single group. This makes your mix cleaner and easier.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So see how easy that is? Like,
yeah,
I haven't even had to do anything down here.
Yeah. Where did you generate that picture?
I made a slide inside of Keynote or PowerPoint. Okay. You know, I just, I mean, your stuff is going to be much more simple. Like for you, when you're generating a slide, literally, and we could talk about creating assets when the time comes.
Yeah.
Because another thing that
I'm doing right now, I won't need it, but
you might, because inside of ChatGPT, it's giving you text bullets. Like for instance, what I will probably be doing more of. Oh, I don't have Keynote open, but inside of ChatGPT. When I go into ChatGPT, whenever you see something like this,
yep,
or something like this, see, these are things that you can bring up on a screen.
Right.
And, one of the things, and I'm going to be starting to generate, because as I start building in Keynote, I'm going to be building templates, because what I think I'm going to be going to is very simple slide structure, just a color in our color palette, and then use Descript to put a circle version of you on one side and then text on the other side. Super simple, like real simple.
Right.
But that just at least gives you an idea.
That is actually what I would use. I would use text to pull up if I'm making a point.
Right, exactly.
Or a quote or something like that.
Right, and ChatGPT makes that really, really easy. And what's cool with scenes, because I want to go to another course, and I want to show you another example of how scenes work.
So again, to create those assets, if I'm just taking, is there a way of just highlighting like one of my, because it's going to be in my script what I want put on the screen?
So we'll create some templates inside of Keynote where it'll just be grab the text, paste it, grab the text, and you'll want to format it, because sometimes you want to do things with colors. Like sometimes with colors, like your text will be black, but you might want to have a bolded word, and that would be white. Things like that are
right.
But I want to show you another example of a scene change. Like when I'm doing, let's see, go to, where are we here? Where's the Pro Presenter? I want to go to the Pro Presenter. Actually, let me go to my Loop community training. This was pretty elaborate. This was all actually freestyle. I didn't do any scripts with this, but I want to show you some cutaways that I did on this. Now, this one, I didn't do a green screen. This is just that.
In this lesson, we're going to learn how to import a multitrack into Loop Community Prime. Now, this might be useful in those cases where you might have multitrack stems from another service like multitracks.com, or even custom multitracks that you might make. This is a great way to import them into the Prime multitrack app for use with your other songs, and to be able to have all the same functionality, including markers and the ability to edit the arrangements of the song. So there's basically two things that we need for this. Number one is the loop community.
So you notice how it switched me over to that circle in the bottom left.
Yep.
Well, you can, I mean, again, you can move the circle around, and you could put a slide there, and we'll build slides in PowerPoint where I could just put my face on one side and the text on the other. And it's just visually appealing. And for a lot of what you're doing, that's mostly going to be your assets. You're not going to have to do like video cutaways. It's just going to be like cutaway to a slide, come back to you, cutaway to a slide, come back to you.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's just, I mean, that right now, your main focus is going to be just recording your lessons.
Yeah.
But then we'll go to the editing stage. So the second half of the video that I made here is going to be when you get to that stage to wrap your head around it. But we're not going to be there for another couple weeks,
Right.
but we will be there.
Sounds good.
So there you go. I think we got to run. We got
Yep.
to go see my mom. But so watch that. You have the link. As soon as this call is over, you'll be able to access that link. It might take a couple minutes, but you can access the link and kind of start wrapping your head around it. And then just start making some videos.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, my friend.
All right. Have a great day.